and welcome to Noni, Yanga's flagship talk show where we discuss all the hot topics. Today we look at the rise and success of Nollywood in the UK and abroad. And we ask, are filmmakers finally taking the Nigerian film industry seriously? Joining me today, producer and director Toyin Moore and producer and actress Labake. Hello, ladies.
Hiya.
Looking fly, sis. Yeah, you've got that winter jacket on. I see you. From the early filmmaking days of Living in Bondage to record-breaking The Wedding Party, the success of Nollywood is continuously on the rise. Initially known for its model of low-budget, high-volume productions, Nollywood is now the second biggest movie industry in the world, worth over $5 billion. Global streaming giant Netflix recently purchased worldwide rights to Nollywood veteran actress Genevieve Nyaji's directorial debut film Lionheart, its first original film from Nigeria. Are industry moguls finally taking Nollywood seriously? Labake, let me ask you, how do you define a successful Nollywood film? Is it the actresses? Is it whether Netflix pick it up? If you was to say, yes, this film has made it, what ingredients does it have to have?
It has to have A-list actors in it. The film ought to have traveled everywhere internationally.
Okay.
And in recent times, that is what has been happening.
Yeah.
With Nollywood movies. It's global now.
It's so funny because before, maybe once every year, once every 6 months, somebody would send you a WhatsApp saying, come to this premiere. And it'd be like, oh, great. But now it's constant. Every kind of month, we're seeing more and more movies coming.
Yeah, every month, literally 2, 3 comes out.
Yeah.
It's not as quite as it used to be. And it's just high up there now. The competition is blowing minds.
I'm telling you, we've seen Genevieve Nyaji, it almost broke the internet, Toyin. It wasn't just Nollywood that were talking about it. It was everywhere about Lionheart and the fact that this is going to be Netflix's first original Nigerian movie. How does that show how far we've come?
We've come a long way, especially looking at Genevieve. She's one of the veterans, I would say. Genevieve started almost 20 years ago. As a teenage girl, she was barely 16, out of secondary school when she started.
Give us our bio.
She has, yeah. And this is her first directorial film. So on many levels, it was celebrated, you know. And Genevieve is not an unknown face internationally, you know, like she's been on Oprah, she's done The Face of Lux and different things. But as per Nollywood, she kind of broke the chart and pioneered something really powerful. You know, we're extremely proud of her.
Yeah, we are really proud of her.
Yeah.
Labake, would you say that Nollywood has changed? Because we mentioned Genevieve, but you don't really see Genevieve in a Nollywood movie these days. Who are the big names in Nollywood at the moment? Because some might even say that Lionheart might not even be a Nollywood film. It's just by a Nigerian director. What kind of makes a Nollywood film? Is it a Nigerian movie, or is it like the outlandish role and the story type?
You can't really be too specific about the names, because just like you said now, you said we don't normally see the likes of Genevieve.
Or even Mercy Johnson.
Or Mercy Johnson. But we see new faces, comedians, they're picking people from the internet who normally do not have you know, a theatre background.
It's interesting, you mentioned comedy. Toyin, how have we transitioned from those kind of, it's the mother-in-law. We start with that big music, we see them in the village. Now, comedy is really taking over Nollywood. They're really, really pioneering some sort of comedy that we hadn't seen before. Would you say that's the kind of the best genre in Nollywood movies at the moment?
Best commercial genre. There's art film and there is commercial film. For commercial, and you could see that when we had 30 Days in Atlanta,
yes,
and we had October 1st by Kunle Afolayan. 30 Days was done by AY, and it was the first groundbreaking commercial film in Nigeria. Meanwhile, October 1st, even though he was an art delight, he was perfectly done, perfect pictures, perfect sound and everything, and great storyline, like the whodunit that would be embraced by what I would call, you know, international film goers. It didn't do so well, like 30 Days in Atlanta, because of the narrative.
Yes, yes.
You know, we have finally found our own niche. We're telling our stories the way we like it. The people in comedy business, comedians in Nigeria, they have also come of age, such that even here in the UK, when you have comedy shows, you have a packed audience all the time. So the filmmakers were able to marry the two, have, what are called authentic old Nollywood actors, and then they mix them with this new age comedians who also have the flair to act and all of that. And so we now start seeing things like Wedding Party, and they've even added
Merry Men.
Yeah, some of the musicians as well.
The Yoruba team, you mentioned Fowls. Fowls is huge, and it's a good crossover, isn't it?
He's an internet sensation now. There's Falls. There's so many of them.
Do you think now, like with, and let's be honest, Genevieve, once you're on Oprah, find us. So, once you go to Oprah, you're worldwide. She makes stars.
Yeah.
So even with Lionheart and some of the big names now, even Moa Budu is behind even the wedding party. Do you think that they're now writing for a mainstream audience, or as filmmakers, are you guys still writing for your Nigerian crowd?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think the content we have now is really going to everyone.
Okay.
I mean, if Lionheart can actually be on Netflix, it's not for just the Nigerian audience. I mean, the satisfaction is global now.
Yeah. But because the satisfaction is global, do you think sometimes it can take away from the authenticity of...
No, it doesn't, because the story in Lionheart, there are two things I think she did that was fantastic. It was the African girl child story, because her father died and she took over the spare part business, which is a predominantly male business of those from the eastern part of Nigeria. And so there's this girl, female child of an Igbo family, breaking the grounds. It's like celebrating the girl child.
Yes.
And at the same time, she was acting with veterans, Onyeka Onwenu, this
Peter
Osofia,
Doche.
Yeah, then this Osofia in London guy, what's his name?
Osofia.
Those
tell me, you guys are the industry. No, but let's be fair. It's true. We've got to celebrate Genevieve, because it was a success for all of us, wasn't it? And it's definitely a success for the industry. Still to come, we look at new Nollywood UK movie Sister Sister, and we look at some of the hurdles the Nollywood industry is still to climb. See you after the break. Welcome back to Nonny. Now, Nollywood movies tell stories that appeal to and reflect the lives of Nigerian culture, from tales of romance and comedy to witchcraft and tragedy. The plot typically has a strong moral message to them, and new movie Sister Sister lives up to that. Let's take a look.
It's Catherine. Is she okay? She's in love. It's happening all too sudden.
You're jealous. You've always had your sister to yourself, and now you don't know how to share.
I understand.
He's really making me uncomfortable being under the same roof. Maybe there's something I'm missing.
Toyin, tell us about the film.
We try to write a story that reflects on Africans in diaspora, because it's the story of two girls who were orphaned at an early age, and then connecting it to how things happen back home in Africa, the wicked aunt, the wicked relative, And then we also touched a little bit on this tribal difference thing, where if you want to marry from another tribe, your parents might not welcome it. So we in this film tried to show that love can triumph overall, but not necessarily the love between a man and a woman, but the love between siblings, so which was a different twist for us, trying to celebrate sisters.
I can't wait to see the movie. Labake, you, as well as other big names, are in the film. Tell me about your role and why you were so interested in doing it.
This is my second work with T.Y. Moore. Her stories have this finesse to them. It's always not about, I just want to act. It's about the contents of the story. It really was captivating for me, and I felt you know, I could work with this.
The UK Nollywood scene, it's growing. And as you mentioned, the diaspora.
Years ago, honestly, years ago, you could not say, you know, that you couldn't say what is happening now. I mean, for example,
what is happening now?
You know, in the music industry, if anyone had told me Wizkid will sell out the O2,
Yeah, okay.
I'd never believe that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nollywood is going places. I see them. I mean, we're breaking barriers. I see them very far.
On the airplane.
Honestly, it's going to be in the same bracket as international movies in just a few years to come. Because years ago, no one could say, oh, we're going to be at the O2 selling out, Wembley Arena selling out. But we are doing that now.
Oh, I'm telling you, you're doing it. And Sister hopefully is going to, you know, prove people right. But what is it about UK Nollywood? Because, you know, a lot of you guys have to have second jobs. It's not sustainable. We say the industry is worth over $5 billion. Where is that money going? Because we know just how powerful the diaspora are. And that diaspora story isn't always picked up by mainstream TV or Black British films. So how would you define the industry, and is it profitable?
To be honest, we haven't really started making profit yet. We are still emerging, like I would say. But Nollywood UK has come a long way.
It has.
You know,
I can see by that production value.
Thank you. In 2009, we used to have, like you said when you started, maybe one movie or two movies premiered in the year, and it was from home.
Yes.
You know. But what is happening now is, in a year, we can have up to 9 productions.
Wow. Where do you see UK Nollywood in 10 years, let's say?
In 10 years.
You can imagine.
Yeah. In 10 years, I would say, because right now, people actually go out to watch our films. Before, you would have to convince them.
That has been the biggest challenge.
Convince.
Come out.
Please come and watch.
Promise. Give
it's
free
true.
tickets. And do all kinds of things. But I think in 10 years, without making a boast.
Boast.
Yeah. I think we would become an industry to take notice of. You know, Odeon said to us last year that we brought in, I'm trying to be humble here.
Don't say humility and the modesty, talk.
By the number of movies we did, we brought in enough revenue to get their attention.
Wow.
Like, you know, and then when Wedding Party did it for us, now we're discussing distribution.
Exactly. Gosh,
So
it opened a lot of ways.
Yes.
And we know that Sister is going to be a success at the box
Thank
office
you.
too. Despite Nollywood's growing success, it still faces challenges, from minimal investment to a lack in regulations and piracy. It's estimated that for every legitimate copy of a film that's sold, 9 others are pirated. Will Nollywood ever really be able to compete effectively with contemporaries such as Hollywood and Bollywood?
That's a humongous
question. You see, I took a deep breath. Will we?
Will we? I want to take us back to the history of Nollywood. The money-making, ritual-making, VHS done film.
So scary films.
In Dumota, that as soon as you hear the soundtrack, my kids will start crying.
I am a tanga. Hey. Even the
like
cover of the films was so scary.
Honestly. But it's still sold.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah.
Really?
Today,
They still sold.
Yeah. But today, you come to a cinema in 7 years ago, Mirror Boy. All of us were trooping to go and actually sit down with the family, nobody's scared, and watch a Nollywood movie. And we saw Caucasians, Asians, people in the cinema. I went 3 days.
I don't know if I've seen any Caucasian or Asian in the cinema, but I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
They
You say
came
it's true.
to watch. Some was out of curiosity. Some was like, they actually were interested in the story. But it was in about 5 or 6 cities, 15 screens. and they didn't do too badly.
Yeah.
If we did that 7 years ago, I think we can say that in a 10 years time or something,
Okay. There's
we
still a
can
long
be-
way to go, but
Yeah.
we're going there. And
Yeah.
I think, we do have to be careful not to be too judgmental. But Labake, $5 billion is a lot of money. Some have been working in the industry for a long time. They are not seeing any of that. There's still some problems with Nollywood. We have to be honest with ourselves, because even, you know, where's the money trickling down from? As some people is it the same faces? You know, there are some films now, it's the same faces.
Over and
And I'm
over
not
again.
talking Nollywood UK, I'm talking about Nollywood in Nigeria. It's the same people. Are they sharing money? Is it really trickling down? Or maybe this is not one, because I'm not in the industry, maybe this is how I'm seeing it from the outside, and I don't want to be too judgmental, but what's really going on? What would you say are some of the biggest hurdles for us?
Like Tony said a few minutes ago, for us here in UK, I still think one of the biggest challenges is getting people to actually come outside and watch our productions. I feel that some productions have been underdone, like Uncooked. It's not been
The
done.
quality,
Yeah,
the
the
quality.
quality. And people have actually become judgmental, you know.
Yeah.
Diasporians have become really judgmental, and they don't want to go and waste this, you know, hard-earned money in cinemas when it's not going to bring them the satisfaction. But we are putting in a whole lot into it. And like you said, that they are repetitive faces. It's not completely like that now. I did mention to you earlier that, I mean, the internet, I think what they're doing now, because if you see the new movies that are trending now, there are
They're proper, even 50.
Yeah.
That's another great film.
They have new faces.
Yeah.
New faces that actually are selling, that are more interesting and captivating to the young audiences that we have now.
Yeah.
I
But you
did
do have a
mention
point
Yeah.
that some people are sharing, and it is not actually going around everywhere.
I'm telling you, because even if we look at some of the big movies, and
It's
we
by
play them here
particular
on Yanga,
production houses.
it's some of them
particular
are
faces
repetitive.
being repetitive.
Yeah,
That is
and
the
they're quite,
truth.
and they're not really the typical Nollywood. You know, my husband.
but we are
Most of the
taking
time,
over.
it's Yoruba films he loves
so
watching.
What is happening is distribution in Nigeria changed the game. Unfortunately, distribution is not seen by some as serving
What kind
everyone.
of distribution are we talking? When you're in traffic and they come with the CD?
No, be that
or
one.
the No, because they say every one that's sold, 9 is pirated.
Yes.
Can you imagine
Unfortunately,
how
we
much
cannot,
money?
we cannot completely erase that piracy.
never.
Even
We
Hollywood
are-
films are
well,
pirated in Nigeria. You know, come on,
So-
it's everywhere. But what is happening is the industry really is not at that stage where you can say everybody is prosperous. No, it is still very few at the top who you
very
see
few.
they're being churned over and over again. And then it's gotten even more competitive now that it's certain production houses, and you see their films, they're the ones in the cinema that are grossing this
Yes.
amount. you're
Exactly.
saying, you know, so
Exactly.
we need to diversify more.
We do, I suppose, and you know, let's not just say that's a Nollywood thing. It's the same with Hollywood. You know,
Yeah.
when you look at the awards, most
Yeah.
of them, it's the same director.
thing.
It's the same thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? But I suppose, you know, it does need to be a little bit better. And I mentioned the Yoruba films. The only reason why, yes, I'm a Yoruba, but the reason why I mentioned it though is because some people go to those films for the authenticity of
Yeah.
the old Nollywood.
If you
No?
look at, I do understand
Yeah.
where you're coming from. If you look
Yeah.
at Sister, Tiwa is actually married, you know, Yoruba and English cast together.
Very well.
Is like one of its kind. I've never, to be honest, I've been here for quite a long time
I
now.
can tell,
And
I can tell from
haven't-
your accent.
And I haven't seen anything like that in cinemas. So I'm excited, really. I mean, we have the Yorubas, and we also have the English people. So it's like a movie for everyone.
Yes.
Everyone is going to come in and have something to take back home. Everyone is going to be entertained, really.
That's great. I can't wait to watch it. Let's tell everyone where you can see it and how they can watch it, because let's be fair as well, you can't watch Nollywood films everywhere in the UK, can you?
No, you can't.
It's premiering at the Greenwich Odeon, which is
I'm still waiting for my invite.
Buxby Way, and we're going to be having an array of stars. Some of the stars from Nigeria have arrived.
Hey. Lovely.
And they're going to be there.
A
and
red
then those
carpet
of
is
us-
going to be on
I can't wait.
fire.
I can't wait.
you can actually also be excited because we are discussing cinema release, and it can be shown in different cities in a few months, so everybody can go.
So basically, we
and
need to
watch
support
it.
you. We need to
Yes.
support you. So
Are you coming? Coming on the red carpet. Coming to interview us.
Yanga will surely
Deal.
be there. Me,
Deal.
I will definitely
Deal.
be there. It's
Deal.
so good talking to you, ladies. Thank you so much for taking your time out. It's really important
Thank you for having us.
that you're
having us.
pushing Nollywood UK and the Nigerian diaspora story. That's it from me, Juliana Olayinka, and my wonderful guest today, Toyin Moore and Labake. Don't forget, guys, Noni's now online wherever you are in the world. Go to www.nyankatv.com to check out every single episode. Join me next time for more Noni Chat. Goodbye.